Now that is a badge that's held a lot of value over the years. It was once synonymous with rich aristocrats all around the world looking for classy sports cars. Over time, things have changed. But you know what? Let's forget about the past. Let's talk about today. Let's talk about MG or JSW MG Motor in India. You're looking at a company that makes one of the best-selling EVs in the country right now, the Windsor. And it's not afraid to take a few risks either. Just look at the Comet. Could this be another gamble? Welcome to rainy Goa. My name is Abhinav Jakhar and this is the MG M9, the latest contestant in the luxury MPV market. Should Kia and Toyota be scared or worried? Well, let's find out. Now up front, MG has kept things quite classy, quite understated. You've got this sleek DRL running here on both sides, of course, and the headlamps sit below, which is almost a norm of sorts. You've also got this impressive chrome chin around the bottom here and that significant looking grille as well. Also, don't forget, this is the radar for the level 2 of ADAS that the MG gets. But what's it like at the rear? Now, this is where I feel MG has really outdone itself. I think this is the prettiest angle on the M9. I especially love this waterfall design for the rear tail lamps. You've got a high mount stop lamp as well and the badging which says M9 EV. EV, does that mean that there will be an ICE M9? Possibly not, but I love the fact that the EV is in blue. Again, very understated. You've got this chrome strip again at the bottom and overall, I think it is quite an understated but yet very cool looking MPV. But the biggest factor here is around the sides. Now, apart from those 19-inch alloy wheels and the Conti Seal tires, the biggest aspect here has to be the size. The M9 is over 5.2 meters in length, 2 meters wide, over 1.8 meters in height, and the wheelbase is 3.2 meters. It is larger than the Carnival and the Vellfire, which is an exclamation point for this luxury MPV. But before I hop into the business end, which is the second row of seats, let's first go to the last or the third row of seats. Getting into the third row isn't very difficult because you have space here in the middle. Now, the interesting thing here is you can slide this forward and backward. Great, but there isn't a lot of under-thigh support. But on the plus side, there is a little bit of space between you and the rear windshield. Apart from that, you get a phone holder, a cup holder as well, a Type A charger and speakers on both sides. I would have appreciated some lines here too, maybe a swivel opener with a hinge, but you can't have everything. On to the second row. Now this is the business end of the MG M9. This is what you're paying for. You've got two Ottoman seats that move front and back, and they also swivel side to side so you can bring them closer if you're with a loved one. Apart from that, you get all the controls here in a small screen. Now you do have heated, ventilated seats. You have massage functions not only for these two seats but also for the front two seats. Like I told you, it isn't legible under the sun, under direct sunlight, and it is quite small. I mean, I would have appreciated something that is a little larger. But MG has added a nice addition here where you could just slide your armrest over it and I forget all about it. I also quite like the digital IRVM. You can see what's going on at the back through a camera, which is quite crystal clear, and it's just a nice addition to have if you are chauffeur driven. Now these two are 16-way adjustable. That, the passenger side, is 8-way adjustable and the driver's side is 12-way adjustable, which is awesome. Other than that, what I really like about the MG M9 here is the choice of color for the leather. You've got this suede sort of finish here as well, all around the car, in the front door trims, in the rear here, and personally I quite like it. It's even on the seats here. It's a small touch, but it goes a long way in making you feel rich and cocooned in luxury. Now, there are a few other things also that aren't very great. one which is blasphemous in a car that's supposed to be a luxury MPV and go up against the likes of the Vellfire or even the Carnival, are manual blinds. And this, it's not the smoothest operation. It does require a little bit of effort. Somebody with the kind of money that they'll be spending on this car, don't think that would make a lot of sense. Also, you've got a massive dual tone panoramic sunroof. You get a single pane one in the front, but you get a massive double pane panoramic sunroof right here, which again is great. Also, this panel up here controls a lot of things: fan speed, your AC temperature, your opening of your panoramic sunroof, the sunshade. So nice nifty little addition over here. But if you are relaxing, it can be a little bit of a reach, which again isn't that big an issue, and I'm nitpicking here, but it is there. Also, you can choose from 64 colors for your ambient lighting. That again is sort of becoming the norm with these modern cars. Personally, I don't see much interest in it. 10 colors would do for me. Now you do get a boss mode which you can operate from the buttons right here, which again is great if you are the kind of person who is chauffeur driven. This seat isn't used and you're going to be using mostly this seat. Now you also get storage here. You have a sort of phone holder or a wallet holder. You get a Type A and Type C charging port over here. Now you also get a phone holder right here. Again, very handy because you'd either end up keeping your phone here between your legs or on the side. You also get an extra cup holder right here, which again is a handy little feature. However, I would have appreciated a little more in terms of space right here. There's just one sort of bottle holder and it isn't deep enough to keep, let's say, a taller bottle. Now, like I told you, there are charging ports here, but you also get a proper charger here, 220 volts, 150 watts, 50 hertz. Again, very useful for if you're using a laptop or something of that sort, which people, let's be honest, in a car like this would be. But I would have appreciated a table, a fold-out table over here, like the Vellfire, which would have been very, very handy. On the whole, I think MG has done well with their luxury MPV, but what does it feel like on the road? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop into the driving seat, go out for a drive, and I'm going to tell you how it feels in the back seat as well, because I have experienced it while there was a chauffeur. So let's get to it. Now, this isn't a driver's car. I know that this is a big luxury MPV. You're going to sit in the back, but let's talk about a few important things. Now, you get a 90 kilowatt-hour battery pack, an NMC one, which should mean greater density, higher density in a relatively smaller battery package compared to, let's say, a lithium iron phosphate one. Now, power is sent to the front wheels. You've got 245 bhp, 350 Nm of torque, which is quite healthy for a car that weighs over 2.5 tons. Now, given the size and the weight and the fact that it has a lower center of gravity, the handling is quite nice. I mean, it's not a live cracker, it's not something that will set your pulse rating, but you will be a little surprised, pleasantly surprised by it. Also, a result of that is the fact that you have great stability on very nice roads. Now, the downside of that is it does feel a little firm. It is a little firmer than I would have liked, but that comes with an all-electric offering. Now, apart from that, just from a space perspective, you've got lots of storage space. You've got two cup holders, got a phone holder, wireless charger, Type A charger right here, and another Type A, which is a 5-volt charger. Now, since we're speaking about space, there's also a segment first frunk, and I think it's a 55-liter frunk, which again is great if you want to put some stuff in there. I think on the whole, the driving experience is elevated by the fact that this is an electric. The whole experience just goes up a notch, and that should work well in the favor of the M9. Now, as I've mentioned earlier, the dimensions of the M9, this is a big thing to lug around. I love the digital IRBM, like I said earlier, but you can switch it off. You can even adjust it for brightness and a whole bunch of other things, which is great. Now, few downsides here. The 7-inch digital instrument console is just not something that you would like to see on a car this expensive. Just feels outdated and just too small. I mean, it's almost in contrast, funnily enough, with the size of the entire vehicle. The 12.3-inch touchscreen infotainment system, I'm okay with it. It's not great, it's not bad. I mean, it does have some good bits, but I still feel there are too many things that you have to control from here. One of them is the regen and the driving modes, of which there are three. You've got Eco, you've got Sport, and you've got Standard. Now, Sport is obviously the most spirited one. Standard or the normal road mode is the one that you will find yourself most in. Power delivery is very predictable. You don't feel a jerk unless you're in Sport mode, which is, I mean, let's just give it a shot. That's not bad. That is not bad for a vehicle of this size at all. On the whole, I think the driving experience is smooth. Even in the back seat, it felt quite comfortable. However, on the first day when I sat with a whole bunch of people, it did feel a little firmer than it is today. But I think that might have to do with lesser people on board, and tire pressures, I think, have been put down. So on the whole, nice premium experience. I think an 8 out of 10, maybe a 7.5 out of 10 for MG here. Now, we don't have the price here because the M9 hasn't been launched yet. But if you're interested in one, you can book it for a price of rupees 51,000. And yes, it will be sold through MG Select, which is a more premium version, a more premium experience than the regular MG dealerships. Now, if it is priced closer to the Carnival, I think it'll be a no-brainer for those high-end hotels and fleets that have cars that require big luxury MPVs. Great. Also because you will be able to charge this MPV in your hotel or any other facility. Again, great. But if it is priced closer to the Vellfire, then this might be a proposition that you might have to think about twice. However, as the first product from MG Select, I think it's a great start. Just imagine having an M9 for your weekdays and a Cyberster for your weekends.